Hello and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. We'll check out the satellite picture here on Friday morning. We've got a big trough, a big area of low pressure spinning away across the Pacific coast, moving ashore across the Pacific Northwest into British Columbia, bringing some badly needed rainfall to these areas that have been hit hard by wildfires over the last couple of weeks. This will bring some moisture into parts of the Canadian Prairie as we head into the weekend, along with some breezy conditions and warmer temperatures. This is also going to be bringing smoke back into the prairie. Again, we saw the front kind of clear things out, but as we head into the weekend with southerly flow in advance of this approaching trough, we're going to start to bring some dense wildfire smoke into portions of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and eventually Manitoba as we head into the weekend. So what does that mean? It could mean some lower air quality at times, but the bigger picture is if you've got sunny skies, it will kind of mute that sunshine. And so we got more of a hazy sky, a hazy appearance to the sky, and then you can get some additional redness to your sunrise and sunset with the sun having to pierce through those smoke particles and particulates within the atmosphere. So again, potentially looking at some thicker wildfire smoke from those western wildfires making its way into the prairie as we head through the weekend. Now the radar is clear as we get started today. It's not until we get deeper into the weekend that we bring those rain chances back in. A little bit cold across parts of the prairie today, again flirting with the sub-freezing temperatures across central portions of Saskatchewan, and this is where we kind of expected those coldest temperatures to be, but the freezing temperatures will be a thing of the past as we head into the next week. We're going to be trending much warmer than average in many areas. Now, the reason for that, we're going to be watching this little wave across the Pacific Northwest. This is the one that's bringing the rainfall to, again, the badly needed areas here across Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia as we wrap up this work week. Now, before the little system gets here, we are seeing ridging in advance. You can see that with the jet stream here. The trough that brought the cool air to the region departing. We're then warming up in advance of our approaching wave from the south and to the west. So that's going to send our temperatures a bit warmer than average. This will bring a chance for some precipitation as we head through the weekend. And then generally the pattern as we head into next week. Let me go ahead and just jump it back. Here we go. We have a 5-day average one. I threw this in here for a reason. As we just look at the broad picture heading into the next week, we're going to have this trough developing across the Gulf of Alaska, the Aleutian Islands. We've got this trough now moving across eastern Canada into the northeastern U.S. In between that, we've got a broad ridge, and the Canadian Prairie is going to be on the northern periphery of that. So what that means is, at times, we will see that warmth from the central U.S. building into the Canadian Prairie. It also means that we're going to see the jet stream traveling through our region, kind of meandering back and forth with chances for precipitation kind of riding, again, along the northern periphery of that ridge. So we're going to see chances for scattered precipitation across the prairie as we head into next week. Generally light, hit or miss in nature. We're also going to see some periods of warmth, though, with the potential for some day-to-day variability with those temperatures as storm systems track through the area. Perhaps you get warmer temperatures in advance of one of the storms, and then you get cloud cover precipitation, a little shot of cooler on the backside. So, broadly speaking, the next week, I'm overcomplicating at this point. We're on the northern periphery of the ridge. We're going to see generally warmer conditions nosing into the prairie, but at times we will see storm systems riding up and over the top of that ridge as well. So let's look at those temperatures then. Here's all the cold air continuing to move off to the south and to the east. Here is the warmth continuing to migrate off to the east now from the west. Let's take the drawings off. Let's hit play on this, and you'll see warmth, broadly speaking, moving back into the Canadian Prairie. You see some flashes of white and blue on there as little systems move through, bringing clouds and precipitation with them. But overall, as you look at this heading into the next 7 to 10 days, we're not looking at any more big pockets of really cold air off to the north that would be available to drop down into the region. We're really just kind of shifting into a near average or a little warmer than average pattern. I'm not going to be talking about much in the way of precipitation. We have opportunities, but right now nothing soaking showing up in the next 5 days because in the next 5 days is what I meant to say there, because we've got a lot of dry air coming in on the backside of this departing front. So we'll bring some Pacific moisture with us as this little low makes its way in here. I shouldn't say little, it's quite well defined as it makes its way in here over the weekend, but with the front taking all the moisture with it down to the Gulf of Mexico, and Tropical Depression 22 spinning away in the Gulf of Mexico, instead of feeding moisture, northward into the prairie from the Gulf, we're going to be keeping it locked down here, keeping a lid on things across the Gulf of Mexico. So Let's take a look at the actual precipitation forecast then as we head through the weekend. I'll hit play on it. There goes our system from southwest to northeast during the day on Saturday mostly. Should see a lot of sunshine across the prairie today. As you head further off to the south and to the west across Alberta and southwestern Saskatchewan, again, some of that sunshine potentially being muted by the wildfire smoke coming in from the southwest. So if you're out there, if you're out working in the fields today and you have those sunny skies overhead, and you look up and it looks a little bit hazy, snap a picture of that and send it to me at andrew.pritchard@nutrien.com. I'm also on social media at Skydrama. It's just been really fascinating, honestly, to see some of this wildfire smoke being about the biggest player in the weather across North America right now, just completely covering some of these areas. So let's take this a little bit further into the weekend then. Sunny skies for us for the day on Friday, potentially muted by wildfire smoke. As we head into tomorrow morning, showers moving in across western portions of Alberta. That rain shower activity spreads into southwestern Saskatchewan by the time we get to Saturday evening. Heading through Saturday night, we'll see scattered rain then making its way across much of the prairie. Sunday morning, waking up to showers and storms again, kind of along Highway 16, anywhere from Calgary all the way to Saskatoon, down toward Brandon and Winnipeg. This storm system takes its time getting out of here, and there's a chance we could get some locally heavy rainfall, kind of across this region. I'll do it in a different color. I'm kind of picking up more specifically on central Saskatchewan, but what happens is this low, we get kind of two pieces of it. A first piece right here, moving off to the north and to the east, we pick up a round of rain, but then we get another little piece that kind of pivots around here. And so my point is, while precipitation is generally going to be pretty light across the region, right around 5 to 15 millimeters, somewhere around here we could pick up some locally heavier amounts, right around 30 to 40 millimeters, but the exact location of that is going to be pretty small and hard to pin down in advance. But this thing finally gets out of here. This system departs as we get into the day on Monday. We should have sunny skies returning to the prairie. So a bit of an unsettled weekend. No one really getting, we're not talking about severe weather with this. Again, not talking about widespread flooding rains, but just a bit of an unsettled, cloudy, and at times rainy weekend across the Canadian prairie, blustery at times with this system making its way through. But starting off sunny and then moving into next week, we'll be on the sunny side as well. So just straight from the NAM, here's the precipitation total forecast. Again, you see it hit or miss in nature. Most areas that get rain, right around 5 to 15 millimeters of precipitation. The NAM with a little hot spot right there across central or south central portions of Saskatchewan. We'll take a little longer range look at the European model so we can time out our next chance for precipitation. So here's our quiet Friday. Here, as we get started on Saturday morning, the European model a little slower with the moisture emerging from the Rockies. So the European wants to keep it pretty much dry across the ag belt on Saturday, but maybe far western portions of Alberta starting midday Saturday with some of that rain. Moving it across the prairie as we get into Saturday night and then Sunday morning. This is during the day on Sunday, pretty rainy for most folks. So I would say leaning towards a rainier Sunday than a Saturday here across the prairie. And then as we get into Monday morning, the storm system's starting to depart, but we could still see some rain falling here across portions of Manitoba as we get into the day on Monday as well. Now we'll be dry briefly on the backside of this. We do have another system that quickly tries to make its way through on Tuesday, but it's going to be mostly moisture starved until it gets into southern and central portions of Manitoba. We could see another round of rain in that area on Wednesday. And then we just kind of continued this active track with fairly frequent, every 2 to 3 day storm systems making their way through. But until we get, beyond this pattern where we've got really dry air in the region and a tropical system sitting down in the Gulf, these are going to be rather frequent chances for scattered light precipitation. So as I show you the total forecast over the next 7 days, taking it all the way to September 25th, even with several opportunities for rainfall, a lot of folks here still between 5 to 15 millimeters of precipitation. It's really in just some of these very localized hot spots where we could get maybe 30 millimeters or so, and some of the models hinting at some of these. But broadly speaking, every 1 to 3 days we get a storm system tracking from west to east quickly across the prairie, riding over the northern periphery of that ridge, bringing light precipitation, light scattered precipitation opportunities to the prairie. Again, we could see some gusty winds as we head through the weekend, seeing those gusting anywhere from 40 to 70 kilometers per hour as we head into especially Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be, I think, Sunday maybe the breeziest day across the prairie. Again, we'll have strong warm air advection coming in advance, strong southerly winds, and then as this wave moves out of here, we'll get the strong winds coming out of the northwest, wrapping around on the backside again. Just at times, perhaps those winds gusting 40 to 70 kilometers per hour. Let's take a look at those high temperatures then over the next 7 to 10 days. Generally between 19 to 25 degrees in Calgary. Same thing in Edmonton, but perhaps dropping down into the upper teens here as we head into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Regina, you'll be anywhere from 21 to 28 degrees, with those overnight lows creeping into the 6 to 12 degree range. So again, not talking about freezing temperatures again for the next 7 to 10 days. We'll be keeping those right around 6 to 12 degrees. And then in Winnipeg, you'll warm up, high temperatures steady in the mid-20s as we head into early next week, with those lows warming back up into the double digits, right around 12 to 15 degrees as we head through the back half of the weekend into early next week. I hope you have a great Friday, a wonderful weekend. Good luck if you're getting rolling with harvest or preparations for that. Any comments, concerns, things you want me to be watching, please do feel free to email me. I don't know if anyone's still watching here as we get to the title screen, but I'm going to spend a minute drawing on my screen here, andrew.pritchard@nutrien.com. Again, I want this to be a community feel. If you want me to be talking about something I'm not talking about, if you want me to stop talking about something that I'm talking about, for a good reason, of course, send me some feedback. Let me know how you're enjoying the content here and how I can better formulate it to suit your needs. I'm happy to talk about the weather all day, every day here. It's what I love doing, but I want to make sure that I'm framing it in a way that's useful to you. So interact with me. I'm happy to hear those comments, both positive and negative. And again, just have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday morning.